Alright, Ronan MMA, welcome back to the channel. UFC Fight Night Vera vs Sandhagen takes place in just 2 sleeps, so I'm quite late putting out my picks video this time around, but I've been very busy getting ready for a craft fair. I've been making knives, so I've just been busy, haven't had the time to watch the fights that I normally would. Yeah, anyways, before we get into it, if you could please like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. If you are somebody that watches on a regular basis but hasn't, please just click the button. It's so easy, it's free, you'll forget you did it. It's about 70% yes, so I would greatly appreciate it. The channel growth has come to an essential screeching halt. However, I will never blame YouTube for that. I won't do that to you guys. I'll never be one of those guys that claims to be shadow banned, because that drives me crazy. I will tell you what, this is a bit of a tangent and it has nothing to do with the topic at hand. We will get to it in just a second. I will put timestamps in here, don't worry. But there are political commentators who are absolutely the ones who would claim to be shadow banned, and you know which way that they lean. And I agree with most of their politics. There's one Canadian political commentator who I've got in mind specifically that I largely agree with all of his politics, but he is just simply unbearable to listen to, so I haven't subscribed to him. I don't watch his content, and YouTube pushes it to me like crazy, so I'm never going to be one of those guys that claims to be shadow banned. So anyways, tangent over. Now let's get right into it. First fight of the night is Cowan versus Vidal. I don't have much to say about this one. It's pretty self-explanatory. If you just look at the two, I'm going with Vidal. She's got wins by sub, KO, and decision, so we know that cardio is not necessarily an issue. She got a flying knee her last time out, which is like something that you don't typically see from women fighters, okay? And this is good because we need some fresh meat at 135. That's a very shallow division. And Cowan in her fight on the Contender Series did not really impress me all that much. It was a split decision, and I think that the only reason she got the contest was because of what I just said, right? That bantamweight is very shallow, and Dana was probably like, fuck, we need people there. So I'm going with Vidal. I think she gets this one done, possibly by finish. She's got a lot of finish on her record, a lot of finishes on her record, pardon me. But yeah, anyways, next fight, Victor Altamirano versus Vinicius Salvador. I'm going with Vinicius Salvador, man. I think he's a slight favorite, or the last time I checked he was, just barely. He had a crazy performance on the Contender Series in a fight where he was like a 3-1 underdog. He was not supposed to win at all. Shannon Ross was supposed to win, and Shannon Ross is known for his stand-up, and Vinicius Salvador just fucked him up, quite frankly. I think he got like 3 knockdowns or something like that. The dude's got wild hands. He's got really good vision. He keeps his hands low. That could be an issue for him in this fight. But I just think he's going to be able to get this one done. Like Victor Altamirano, even in his last fight against Daniel de Silva, the commentators were even saying how he's like willing to, stand and trade with guys who are, by all accounts, better strikers than him. And I think that the only reason he got that one done is because Daniel de Silva is not that great. Like, Daniel de Silva hurt him and then wasn't able to capitalize on it, and then Victor Altamirano ended up finishing him. And yeah, man, Vinicius Salvador, his last loss was to Jafel Filho, pardon me, who we now know after that fight on Saturday with Muhammad Mokaev, depending on how high you hold Muhammad Mokaev in regard. Jafel Filho is underrated, and yeah, I think that Vinicius Salvador is going to get this one done. I think this is going to be a fucking crazy fight and will most likely not go the distance. I think regardless of whether or not I get the pick right, I think that somebody will end up getting finished. But I just think that watching their striking, Vinicius Salvador is much better, and I don't think that Victor Altamirano has the submission abilities that a guy like Filho has. So, dude, if you're able to basically, in almost any other circumstance, right, Jafel Filho wins that fight. Like, 90% of the guys he'd be fighting would have tapped to that. That is fucked. So I don't think that he's going to have much issue here. All right, next fight, Manuel Torres versus Ogden. I almost went with Ogden just because his last time out, I can't remember what the guy's name was off the top of my head, but he was supposed to be this new Mexican up-and-comer. He had a ton of hype on him. His nickname's the Golden Boy. I can remember that much, but they made it like a really slow fight, and I think that kind of didn't go like that was tricky for the guy who he was fighting. Now that guy was being overly patient, the Golden Boy, and credit to Trey Ogden. A lot of it is to do with his style and the way that he moves and things like that. I think he was like a look that guy had never seen before. However, I don't think that Manuel Torres is going to come out and almost not throw any strikes for the first 5 minutes. This guy comes out like a bat out of fucking hell, especially in his last fight, and he's not going to let Trey Ogden get like comfortable in the fight. The only thing is that Manuel Torres can from time to time leave his chin out. He has very good boxing. Otherwise, his punches are crisp. They're fucking hard. He's got pop on his shots, and you know, he does leave his chin out there from time to time, as I just said. And also sometimes his hooks are a little loopy, or they're not even really loopy, but they come from very wide angles. They're strange, but his fight last time out was insane, and I think that he's going to be able to get this one done here, regardless of him leaving his chin out. I don't know that Trey Ogden's going to have the power to put him away, and yeah, Trey Ogden might be a good underdog pick just because he's a crafty veteran, but I don't think that Manuel Torres is going to fight the same way that Golden Boy did, and I think that was why Trey Ogden had the success against him that he did. So next fight, CJ Vergara versus Daniel De Silva. I'm going with CJ Vergara, and only because I don't think that Daniel De Silva is very good. He's got very poor decision making. He's on a 3 or 4 loss streak. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I think that most of them are finishes as well. He just seems to like throw fights away. He just makes horrible decision making. And CJ Vergara is pretty consistent, and getting submitted by the guy who he got submitted, that Asian dude, Tatsura Taira or something. Tatsura Taira. My bad. Okay. Oh yeah, dude, I did it in the Japanese accent. It's like the most samurai sounding name on that entire card, where it was like all Asians. But CJ Vergara is more consistent all the way around, like everywhere, in every aspect of MMA, and is usually pretty good. He looks like John Dodson a fucking lot. It's weird, dude. He literally looks like if John Dodson was like 15 years old or something. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, CJ Vergara. And the odds makers got him at a heavy favorite, so this isn't like a fucking Nostradamus pick or anything like that. Next fight, Trevin Jiles versus Preston Parsons. I was going to go with Preston Parsons for a little bit. I was thinking about this, but because he's primarily a grappler, and I know that I was thinking back to the James Krause Trevin Jiles fight, and I just can't get over the fact that James Krause, who is a much less physically imposing individual, was able to control Trevin Jiles for essentially an entire round with back control, and I think he did it more than once, like in more than one of the rounds. I remember being upset with the decision there. I felt like James Krause should have got it, but that was in Texas the same night that Dominic Reyes was robbed of his title against John Jones. So there was a lot of wonky decisions going on that night. But I think that I was watching Preston Parsons' last fight, and man, there were a few times where he got very dominant positions, where he had an arm triangle locked in, mounted, and he fucking, for whatever reason, could not capitalize and would consistently lose position. He definitely slowed down also, and I think that Trevin Jiles is just way more experienced, and he's going to have better striking than that guy that he fought last time out, and Preston Parsons' striking is not great. And, yeah, I just think that Trevin Jiles is going to be able to get this one done. Might even end up finishing him, because Preston Parsons will be fucking panicking, trying to shoot, you know, desperately shooting, and I think that Trevin Jiles could potentially get a KO victory there. Next fight is Steven Peterson versus Lucas Alexander. I'm going with Steven Peterson. Guy went to a split decision with Julian Erosa, who's very good. And honestly, his only losses are to guys who are established UFC fighters, like Alex Caceres, who, you know, I shit on last time out for being a vegan, and then he went out there and fucking head kicked the guy. So, you know, don't judge book by its cover, I guess. And, yeah, Lucas Alexander got finished in his UFC debut by some fucking random. And Steven Peterson hasn't been finished since 2013. So I don't know that that Lucas Alexander is going to be the one to fucking crack that chin or sub him or any of that. So I just see Steven Peterson being better almost everywhere and going to be able to get this one done. Honestly, at the odds that they're at right now, and perhaps it hasn't been updated because I did screenshot all of the information maybe a week ago. If the odds are still what they are, though, 175 minus 175 for Steven Peterson is not bad odds whatsoever. Actually, they're pretty good. So, anyways, next fight, Daniel Pineda versus Tucker Lutz. I have to go with Tucker Lutz all day, dude. Daniel Pineda, I don't find to be very good, and his only win in the UFC, if I'm not mistaken, is over Herbert Burns, who we all know is not his brother. I mean, the guy kind of quits, and then Gilbert Burns went and said that he had a torn ACL, and I don't think we ever heard anything about that after the fact. That to me wasn't Herbert Burns injured. That was Herbert Burns fucking quitting because he was gassed and was fucking exhausted. Like, he is just he does not have the same kind of heart his brother does. You know, Pineda also got finished by Cub Swanson back in 2020, which is kind of like, you know, Cub Swanson hasn't looked all that great lately. He's had, like, good performances here and there, but he's kind of definitely, you know, at the end of his career. And even in 2020, like, was still kind of towards the end of his career. He's 37 years old, and he also doesn't really have the best cardio. He's kind of like a bit of a front runner. He's got to get finishes earlier on rather than later. And he's fighting a young, hungry guy, almost 10 years younger. And I know that Tucker Lutz lost his last time out, pardon me, but Pat Sabatini is a very good grappler, and I'm not overly concerned with Daniel Pineda subbing him, like, immediately in the first round here. So, pardon me. I think that Tucker Lutz gets this one done pretty easily, if I'm being honest. Next fight, Alex Perez versus Manel Kape. I've got to go with Manel Kape. I almost went with Alex Perez, because if you look at his record, he's only lost to the best guys in the flyweight division, like Pantoja or Figgy and Joey B. But I think that Manel Kape is coming into his own, and I think that those two losses that he had back-to-back, those are tough outs for, like, your debut and your second fight. This guy's supposed to be special. I think he will be special. I could see him being a champion at flyweight. He's a young guy, and I think he's coming into his own. He had a very he had a very impressive performance his last time out, and I know he didn't get the finish, but David Dvorak is a very tough individual. And, I mean, flying knee to Ode Osborne and fucking all the rest. The guy's good, man. And Alex Perez isn't the oldest in terms of age, but he's had a pretty long career. And I think that the difference here is that we've kind of seen Alex Perez's ceiling, whereas I don't think that we've seen Manel Kape's ceiling. And, yeah, I think Manel Kape gets this one done. Probably not easily. It's probably going to be I would imagine, a decision victory again, but I still think that he gets this one done. Okay, this next one. People might shit on me for this pick. Chidi Njokuani, bro, versus Albert Duraev. Chidi Njokuani, or something close to that. I'm not sure. But fuck it, dude. I'm picking Duraev. I think he's the underdog here, actually. Last time I checked, he was. And I know that Albert Duraev, you know, considering his surname and where in the world he has come from, he is not necessarily the most, you know, he's not the most talented guy that we've seen come from that part of the world, especially in the grappling realm. However, Chidi, Jesus Christ, dude, Chidi. I keep thinking of, like, Chitty Bang Bang. He is he's very inconsistent throughout his career. Usually, historically speaking, when we see him lose, he does not just lose one in a row. He's done that once, and then he got a win, and then he went on, like, a four-fight loss streak, yeah. And he gets finished on the ground almost every time, whether it's ground and pound or submission. He just is, he's lacking in that department now. Maybe he's gotten better, but I have to go based off of what we've seen in the past. He's gotten choked out multiple times. He's gotten ground and pound TKO'd, I think, once or twice. And while Duraev can appear troubling at times, you know, his win over Roman Kopylov is aging quite well. Roman Kopylov is very good and looked amazing his last time out, and I think he gets this one done. I think he's able to out-grapple Chitty and take him to the ground, maybe even TKO him, who knows. And hopefully we just don't get a swollen eye, because that really bugged Albert Duraev, which is also kind of an issue, right? Like, that's a little bit troubling to see a guy get that upset. And I know that it was bad, but most guys are like, fuck it. No, I can see. He kind of, you know, was one of the guys that you tell the ref you can't see, you're essentially like quitting. But I think he's able to get this one done. I am not super high on Chitty Njokuani. Now, maybe he can go out there and surprise me, and that'd be fine. But as of right now, I'm going with Albert Duraev. Next fight, this one might be a throwaway pick, dude, because I'll tell you what, I fucking hate Macy Barber with a goddamn passion. I can't stand this lady. And I know that Andrea Lee has an ex-prison Nazi fucking boyfriend or whatever the fuck. I don't care. Could care less. I hate Macy Barber so much. She is fucking unbearable to me. And I'm sorry if there's any Macy Barber fans out there, but Jesus Christ, I can't stand her, especially on the microphone, which is why I never wanted to win, because I don't want to hear her fucking talk, okay? And I know there's probably people that think the same way about me and my voice, but I don't care, okay? Fuck Macy Barber. God damn, dude. Her striking is horrible. She is constantly rushing forward and overextending on shit, and that's like a lot of the reasons why she's even able to initiate in the grappling, because she's so fucking... Dude, when she's striking, it looks like she's running down a fucking hill, okay? Because just the forward momentum, like, it's so bad. It's horrible technique, and I hope that Lee's able to just counter her bitch ass and hurt her on the feet, because, dude, I can't stand her. I don't know what it is, man. I feel like her stealing the mic from Roxanne Modafferi after Roxanne beat her when she was absolutely not fucking supposed to was a bad moment, in my opinion, for Macy Barber's career. And then when she got the victory over Miranda Maverick that she definitely shouldn't have gotten. But here's, when it comes to the... So she's going to have to try and close the distance on Andrea Lee. And the only thing that Macy Barber is good at hitting when she's striking at range is air and shadows. Dude, it's worst. I'm at a loss for words because it's so bad. She will literally throw shit further away than Michelle Waterson will, and she'll fucking kee-aw when she does it, which is like, come on, bitch, you ain't hitting shit. Hitting air, okay? Don't fucking act like you're like breaking this lady when you just... She doesn't even feint a jab. She doesn't even fake a jab. She will throw a jab from like 10 feet away. And it's like, that is the dumbest shit I have ever seen in my life. Like, look at the... I know that Leon Edwards is fucking incredible, but look at the difference between like a high-level striker, and I get that it's male and female, but that's not the point. And how they will feint shit, right? Like, it's very subtle. They're just trying to make you bite. They're just doing little movements, whether it's a shoulder, right? They'll twitch their hand a little bit. They'll fucking show you the hip, twitch their legs a little bit. It's subtle and discreet, and this idiot doesn't do that. She will throw a fucking head kick when her opponent is like 10 feet away from her, and it's like, okay, dude, you literally took all of your striking lessons from Michelle Waterson, and that's not a good thing. So I am hoping that Andrea Lee doesn't gas after the first round and is able to bank another round and get a 29-28 decision victory over Macy Barber and not have it robbed from her because she has a Nazi boyfriend, okay? I know nobody likes her fucking boyfriend, but I don't care. I don't like Macy Barber, all right? And I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I don't know, man. There's something about her, dude. Something about her. Anyways, Nate the Train, dude. Knight the Train. Dude, if he was fighting Caceres, I would probably be picking Caceres because I think that he would be able to stay at range and kind of pick Nate the Train apart. But you can't sign up to get run over by a train on short notice there. That just ain't happening. There's not many men that can out-damage the damage, so I'm gonna have to go with Nate the fucking Train all day, and I hope that he wins, dude, because I love hearing him talk. It's hilarious. Fucking Nate the Train, let's go. Next fight, Holly Holm versus Yana Santos. Holly Holm by cage push. Holly Holm by cage push, without a doubt. No, I hope that it's not going to be like that, but it probably will be like that, because in Holly Holm's later stages in her career, we've seen her do that against a lot of girls. Now, I get it that, like, she's totally neutralizing them, but it's so fucking annoying and bullshit to watch, especially when, dude, look at the fights that Holly Holm has actually had. Like, she used to be quite exciting. Her fight with Germaine de Randamie was fucking incredible, and I thought that she won that fight, and I thought that at the least Germaine de Randamie should have had a point taken away for those fucking horrible late shots after the bell, obviously. She is so capable of doing good work on the feet against a lot of these girls, but I think that with age, she just doesn't want to get hurt. Or, you know, she's worried that if she gets hit, she will get hurt or, like, rocked or something like that. And she's just fighting, I guess, intelligently, right, to take less damage. But if you look at who she's lost to, they're, like, the best girls ever and the ones that are the most manliest. So I'm not holding that against her. She's got a fairly recent victory over Irene Aldana, who is being spoken about as, like, the next fucking champion, okay? And, yeah, Yana Santos, or, you know, formerly known as Yana Kunitskaya, is not good really anywhere. Like, she's not impressive anywhere. I mean, she's fucking fine at everything, but she's just not overly impressive, and I feel like Holly Holm just has a much better skill set, in all honesty, and I think that she's able to get this one done. Hopefully not by cage push, dude. I would rather not see that for 15 minutes, because that would be a real fucking dud right before the main event, and that would suck, but maybe they need to do that to get our blood sugar, like, or get our fucking, you know what I mean, bring us down right before we get the craziness that will be the main event, which is next. Okay. Marlon Chito Vera versus Corey Sandhagen. I have been torn on this one for a while. When this fight got announced, I made a video making a pick, and I picked Corey Sandhagen, and then I made a video the next day saying that I changed my mind and that I was picking Chito Vera, and the reason for that was because I went back and watched all of Corey Sandhagen's fight. I made my initial reaction and pick without going back and rewatching everything. And I'm going to stick with my Marlon Chito Vera pick. I'm going to pick Chito. And the reason is because Corey Sandhagen's style and the way that he fights makes him appear much more elusive than he really is. He gets hit a fuckload, like a fuckload, a ton. Like, he just does, man. His style looks elusive because he's constantly moving and he's coming in and out and shit like that, dude. Petr Yan was able to hurt him on multiple occasions, and he got hit a lot in that fight. He got hit a lot in his TJ Dillashaw fight, and I know that these are both very good guys, but I hold Marlon Chito Vera in very high regard. I think he is very good, and I think that his striking technique is underrated because defensively, first of all, he's very good. People don't realize, like, if you get hit 270 times, right, against Rob Font, and you look like you don't have a fucking scratch on you, like, you have underrated defense. And it's not just that his skin is like fucking leather or whatever, right? It's him rolling with shots in certain ways and, like, covering up, and much like Justin Gaethje against Fiziev, honestly. Like, Gaethje, and I underrated his striking defense. He has underrated striking defense. He's good at rolling with shots. He gets just enough up there that it, you know, takes a lot of the power off of it. And Chito's very similar. Also, when he head kicked Dominic Cruz, that was not a fluke. Like, he did almost the Leon Edwards, where he feinted a jab and he went to go feint the right hand, but as he went to go feint the right hand, he just turned over with a kick, and Dominic Cruz had already slipped to that side. Perfect head kick. Like, his technique is underrated. He is a very, very patient man, which I know can, you know, that's what could be an issue here for him in this fight, because Corey Sandhagen, if you're going to let him get started, you know, he's just going to keep going. But the thing is that Corey Sandhagen does not have power. Like, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful or degrading, but I'm talking about in his hands. He does not have real punching power, and I don't see him landing like a flying knee or a fucking wheel kick on a guy like Marlon Chito Vera, okay? He's not Marlon Moraes. He is not fucking Frankie Edgar. And I know that Chito had a hard-fought fight with Frankie Edgar, but, man, people are saying, like, he only had that one moment, right, at the end, and he was absolutely losing that fight. But if you looked at Frankie's face, even before that shot landed, Frankie looked pretty fucking beat up, man. And, you know, Jose Aldo was able to control him. I don't think that that's going to be a factor here. I don't think Corey Sandhagen's going to be controlling Marlon on the ground. And, dude, I just feel like there's no way you're going to go 5 rounds with Chito and he's not going to find that shot. And I know that Petr Yan can crack. I think Chito's got fucking different power, man. It's always the long, lanky guys. They've got so much leverage on their shots, and it's like you wouldn't expect them to hit hard, and they just do. He clearly hits hard. Rob Font's face looked like it was in a should have been in a fucking horror movie. It literally looked like movie makeup, dude. And yeah, it really, to me, it boils down to Corey Sandhagen not actually being as elusive as his fight style would make him appear. He never looks clean at the end of his fights, especially against guys that are... I was so close to sneezing there. Unless he goes out there and gets submitted by Aljo in 40 seconds or whatever the fuck it was, he doesn't really look clean at the end of his fights. Like, he always takes damage. And a lot of it, it's because of his style. He gets hit a lot on his entrances, and he gets hit a lot on his exits. He's very good once he's in there, and he's very good when he's all the way out. But when he oftentimes he'll enter and he gets hit a lot, okay? And I think that if Petr Yan can find a shot, then Chito Vera can find a shot. I think that if TJ Dillashaw can find shots, then Chito Vera can find shots. And I think that Chito doesn't really need a whole lot. Like we saw against Rob Font, man. He basically won those rounds with like a few shots because they were so damaging, and he just continued to hurt him. And while Rob Font was getting wobbled a lot in that fight, I don't think it's because he's got a chin issue. Like, clearly not. Dude's tough as nails, if we're being honest. And, you know, he didn't go out, so credit to him for that. But I think Chito's going to be able to find shots that either win him enough rounds or, you know, 4th or 5th round, he could find something to put Corey Sandhagen away. Corey Sandhagen is very hard to finish. And credit to him there. Especially, like, early in his career, he got trapped in that armbar that, much like the Muhammad Mukayev one, might have finished fucking 90% of people, but he managed to get out of it. And, yeah, but he got hurt before that armbar on the feet. And, again, I think that if Chito can hit you, he's going to hurt you. And I don't see Corey Sandhagen not getting hit for 25 minutes against Marlon Chito Vera. So I'm picking Chito. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited, very excited for this fight. And yeah, anyways, dude, that's the end of this video. So if you could be so kind, like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. 70% of you watching still haven't hit the subscribe button. Easy, one click. I'm sure you already pay for some subscription service of some kind, so it's free. I've got tons of videos. I put out content on a daily basis. And yeah, thank you very much, and I'll see you at the next video. Bye-bye.